Outsider, have you ever heard of trains? Welcome to the Variety Voiceover Nerdcast. This week, two geeks visit the outsider. I'm your host, Camden Parsons, here with my co-host.
Oh, Derek.
Derek, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm also good.
On vacation?
I am currently on vacation.
Yeah.
Today we're doing another special episode of Pre-Recorded. So currently I am on vacation in North Carolina. I won't go too far into it because surely I'll talk about it when I come back. So we're recording this episode in advance. Figure a fun, easy way to have a pre-recorded episode, something to knock out, is going and revisiting our Building a Universe episode because I'd like for this to be a series.
Yeah.
Didn't expect to come back to it this soon, but it's a fairly easy thing to come back to, and I feel it'd be one of the most entertaining things we can do on short notice.
Right.
Also, when this episode comes out, it'll be my birthday.
Yes, it will.
So, happy birthday, Camden.
Happy birthday, Camden, man.
Happy birthday, future Camden. What are you doing today?
Yeah.
Something fun, I hope. Turning 21?
Comic books and
beaches. Yeah. No. Maybe.
Beaches.
Oh, beaches?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I have, since I'm turning 21, I've had a lot of people tell me they want to take me out to like a bar.
Yeah.
Buy me my first drink, this and that, whatever. And I'm not really an alcohol person. My goal for my 21st birthday is I just want an ice cream cake. Some of that too. And I want an ice cream cake, and I just want comic books. My original thought was time to read comic books, but then my eyes got wide and I realized I could go get some comic books and add to my collection.
Yeah.
Maybe get some while on vacation. Hopefully by the time this episode comes out, I will have already done that. And,
I imagine there's probably some pretty cool comic book shops there.
I'd like to find out for sure. I'd like to take at least one of those days and go try and find a comic book shop around there.
When I went on vacation, I made a effort to try and find as many comic book shops as I could.
How many did you find?
Like 3 or 4.
Where'd you go?
I went to Columbus, and then I went to Cleveland. Well, Sandusky.
I'd like to do that. My goal is I really like Columbus, and at some point I'd like to just go up there. But the hard part is going to like a city like that. Like you kind of need to have a reason to be there or somewhere to be, or otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah.
Almost, it's so big. So I told myself, the next time I go up to Columbus, I'd like to essentially make a day of comic shop hunting, and I think there's like 13 or 14 throughout the entirety of Columbus, and trying to hit all of them in a day.
Yeah, we had a lot of other things on our agenda, or else I would have done something very similar. I think it'd be really fun to do that with you, but it'd
be really cool, like save up some money and then maybe like budget for like $100 per shop. Because my maybe like 50. Because my thing is, it's like you don't want to be like, oh, this is awesome, and go overboard in shop 1. By the time you get to shop 13, there's something even better in there, but you've already blown all your money.
I imagine that we could gamify it too. Get $50 per shop, and who can find the best one under $50?
That would be fun. That'd be a really cool VVTV episode.
It would. Put a pin in that.
Yeah, we will put a pin in that.
But we went to the Columbus Zoo up there.
Yeah, so that's where you was that where you were talking to the zebra?
No, that was closer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a pre-recorded episode. So a lot of the things that we talk about at the beginning of our episodes are pretty much the things that we've gone through the week. We don't have that right now.
Yeah, we were coming off the clutches of having just recorded last week's episode with my father.
Oh.
No, why did you? No, don't make that sound when I talk about my dad.
He was a good guy.
Gee willikers.
I enjoy talking to your dad.
I like him a lot.
Not in the sexual way that it insinuated.
Yeah,
but, no, I enjoy talking to your dad. I think that we could all have a off-air conversation. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I've known him for a pretty long time. I think he's pretty
probably
cool.
All your life.
Yeah, actually, yeah. No, as of right now, the only thing that we've really done so far that we haven't talked about in the last episode, I briefly mentioned it, but we've been kind of going on an adventure right now. I feel bad because going back, I think from here on out, at least, I'm going to stop doing this, but I'm going to do it now because I know this is coming out. But I've been going through and listening to some older episodes recently.
Yeah. And
there's been a couple times where you've asked me what projects I'm working on for Comeback Kid Films, and I've been talking about them, and they haven't come to fruition. For, I don't want to go into like a whole bunch of personal stuff, but, a lot of big things have happened in the last couple of weeks.
And no one can blame you for
yeah,
not
I
being
have
able
not
to
been
stick
able
to
to
a
get
schedule.
Yeah, stick to my guns with that stuff. So a lot of the projects I've announced, I haven't gotten to. I've shelved. I think I'm still going to do at some point, but I can't.
Well, it takes
now.
a lot of discipline to keep yourself on track for a lot of those things, even in the best of times.
Oh, yeah.
Let alone having a bunch of things going on. So,
yeah. But I am working on a project right now, and you've been helping me with this project right now.
I sure have.
And I'm very, very excited about this project.
I just saw essentially what would be the director's cut.
I would say more so rough draft.
More of a rough draft.
Yeah.
Of this project that you're working on, and I'm excited to see it all the way complete. Like it's definitely something that I'm like, oh God, like I'm looking at each individual shot because and I'm kind of glad that the other person that was going to help you out with this kind of bailed. Or was not able to do it.
It wasn't really a bail. It was we had to reschedule because the weather was crap,
right.
And then the day we were going to reschedule to, they had something pre-planned that they had forgot about. So
Which
I
is
don't think
fair.
it's really their fault.
No, but I'm kind of glad that happened because I helped you out with one portion of it, and they were going to help you out with like pretty much the rest of it, and I would have been really upset. Not really upset. I would have been really.
You wanted to help.
I wanted to be part of it. Yeah.
I said I didn't know that. That's cool. I appreciate it. Let me real quick. I'm going to, first of all, I appreciate it greatly, and I'll go more into that in a second. But I feel like we're tiptoeing around it. I was trying to get to the point, like I was setting up, revealing what it is, and then we just keep talking about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I was 9 years old, almost exactly 11 years ago, actually a little over 11 years ago now, I made a song called Explode. And Explode is genuinely one of the worst things I've ever made in my life. I was 9, it cut me some slack. It's nothing crazy, but it's really bad. It's terrible, and it's become a running joke in my friend groups, my family for years. And so I always thought it'd be really funny if I went back and remade it. And that's what I'm doing now. I have remade the entire instrumental for the song from the ground up, because I didn't make it originally. I found an instrumental online and just sang over it. And then I kept all the lyrics the same. And as of the last about week, it was mainly yesterday and today.
Yeah.
But you also helped me last week after we recorded our show, going out and recording a music video. And that is what I'm currently working on, is the music video for this project. Now, the thing is, though, the whole point of the video, because here's my justification. It is the end of July. I do not have time to pump something out for July, unfortunately. Originally, I thought that means I lose my video every month for the year challenge.
Yeah.
But I actually had it written down as 12 videos for the year.
Okay.
Which technically I'm still on track for.
Yeah.
Because Explode, the music video, is going to be part of a video I'm working on, which is no, that's not the word. What's the word? Chronicling? I'm making a video of me remaking this song. The big thing I'm working on is a video of me remaking this song. And the music video will be part of that. So technically I'm making 2 videos, the music video and the making of the music video, right? So technically I'm still on track for 12 videos.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited about that. I'm working on the video first because part of it is this vacation I am currently on, is we're going down to North Carolina with a lot of my family, which is where I was when I made the original Explode. So my idea was to end the big main video with a video of me showing my family this new one.
Yeah.
So I have to have the music video finished before this trip, or at least on the trip so I can show them.
Right.
And then that will be how the big video ends. I hope it made sense. I feel like I kind of rambled there, but
no, it definitely made sense. I think that there's a lot of like really, it's like you said it before. The song was made whenever you were 9 years old. It's more of the efforts going into what you're passionate about, the video editing of it all, like a lot of that kind of stuff, versus being,
I also
great
think
song.
Yeah, it's meant to be funny as a part of it too. I think originally my thought process was like, what'll make it funny is if the production's really, really good and the lyrics are terrible. But then I realized I've never recorded a song like this before. I am not a musician, so my singing isn't very great, to be honest with you, either. And I feel like that kind of adds to it. So now my goal is, I am a videographer more than anything. Like, I'm pretty good at audio production, but audio and music production are definitely two different things I'm learning.
Sure.
So I've done what I could. You know, the quality of it's not terrible, but the thing is, you know, when my singing's not great to begin with, you can only go so far from there. You know? So my goal from here is, you know, stick to what I'm good at. I'm good at the video part of it. Yeah. And now I'm at the point where I'm in Premiere. I'm working on the video part. That's where I shine. So I'm hoping the video kind of carries the song. What I will do, though, sneak a little peek, whenever I am finished with the song, I am going to upload it here on Variety Voiceover as a special episode, so that it's out there, so that you can listen to it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. It'll be on YouTube, like, legitimately as well, and come back get films. Yeah. But I'm gonna.
I know that you mulled around the idea. I'm
gonna do it. I'm totally gonna do it.
This is a lore drop. Okay.
So be on the lookout for that. The hit original song by both 9-year-old and 21-year-old Camden Parsons, "Explode."
Yeah. Well, technically, it'd be 20-year-old Camden Parsons.
Oh yeah, because I guess I'll. Yeah. Well, I said that because I'll be 21 today when the episode comes out.
Yeah,
so
fair.
Future Derek, pre-recorded. You gotta add that. I put reverb on that when I do it.
No. It's better whenever I do it.
All right, I appreciate it, man.
You're welcome.
Would you like to jump into our main topic? I feel like I talked about that long enough.
Jump in both feet.
Okay, so we're continuing our series with the building a universe. We last time got pretty situated as far as the DivinityCorp went. I would like to. There's two main things I think as far as this series go that I want to work on next, and I think that one of them is we need to set up the other side of that. They need established. They need a little bit more than just the other people in our universe. So that's what I'd like to talk about today. Who are the freelancers? You know, maybe not necessarily building an entire roster of them yet, but basically, who are they? What do they do? You know, maybe get at least one of them worked out today. Add a new character to our roster. Yeah.
Okay. So whenever I think of, like, the outsiders, I'm thinking, like, desert. Like, something that would be...
What? Oh, you mean the freelancers.
The freelancers. So whenever I think about the freelancers, I'm thinking, like, desert-esque kind of thing, where it's like they're kind of exiled away from the mainland of it all.
Okay.
And this is me spitballing here, but you know, I'm thinking, like, you know, they need to do this in secret, or else they get the attention of DivinityCorp.
I feel like I agree with that to a degree. I like the idea because when I think we were talking about this last time, I had pitched maybe the freelancers being a team. And honestly, the more we're saying it, I kind of like the idea of them being called the freelancers. And this will essentially be our universe's, like, Avengers, because there's obviously going to be, like, their own, like, Avengers / Justice League for DivinityCorp, but they're not going to be, like, I imagine them more as, like, genuine hero versions of, like, the Seven from The Boys, and then the freelancers will be more like the actual Avengers Justice League, you know? But I also like the idea of, I don't want them to all be part of this group. I feel like, I like what you're saying, and I think we can balance this, where the freelancers, the group, is the face of this. They take all the heat from people like DivinityCorp. They're the main face of this organization. They are an actual team. And then anyone else who doesn't operate under DivinityCorp is technically a freelancer, but they're not part of the team. You know, so, like, maybe the freelancers are set up in maybe somewhere like Nevada or something like that, right? But then there are freelance heroes all over the country, all over the world, you know?
I like the idea of what you talked about last episode, where it was talking about how Kingpin was outlawing vigilantism.
Yeah.
And I like that trope where, I'm just ignoring you right now, where it's bad. Just so the people at home can see this.
Oh, it is bad. I was feeling myself, but now I'm seeing it, and I'm feeling myself a lot less.
He hit it with the middle part.
Yeah, I was trying to middle part it.
And
not good.
No, it was okay up until a certain point. You look fine. This is a podcast. You got to face the radio.
You're not the first person to tell me that.
I'm sure I'm not. But kind of breaking it down where the DivinityCorp, they're pushing legality around when it comes down to like our heroes are the only ones that can take care of the hero work.
I think a fun thing to point out at some point would be like maybe DivinityCorp tries to sue the freelancers.
Oh yeah,
but you can't sue a symbol because these people are costumed vigilantes. So like you can't sue. I don't know. We'll say you can't sue Captain America because Captain America is a symbol, not a person. The person is Steve Rogers.
Right.
So if you don't know who Steve Rogers is, you can't sue him.
Right. I think that could be like where there's a very public battle between the two, where a lot of the underground battles are much deeper than that, where these are the headlines where they're like DivinityCorp sues or, you know, something in that regard that's very, very catchy for the public to try to be like, you know, God dang you.
Goddamn, man, they got that goddamn superheroes.
Trying
to get them sued.
But like having them put a magnifying glass on like creating events where these
DivinityCorp's essentially like driving the public narrative while freelancers are trying to genuinely do the work.
Right. And then
okay.
DivinityCorp's like making them look bad. And
see, I like this narrative a lot, but I also don't want the entire thing to be based on this conflict of DivinityCorp versus freelancers. I feel like, and this kind of actually bleeds into the other thing, maybe we can talk both out in this episode, is I would like to maybe plot out our first arc. Because if we ever did this, you know, you got to remember, an arc is anywhere between like a trade to 2. So it's anywhere between 7 to 14 issues, right?
Right.
I would like to plot out kind of what our first arc would be, and I feel like at the end of our first arc, DivinityCorp's gone. Or maybe the remnants of it. It's still
I was
there.
thinking that by the end of our first bit was Flint dying.
Kindling. I like the idea of Kindling dying. I don't know if I want that to be the end of our arc or if I want that to be near the end of our arc and maybe have the consequences of that be what bleed into the end of it.
I just imagine like you know, outsider.
It ends with him like holding the child.
Holding Kindling.
Yeah.
Just like, no. And then that's the final panel.
I could see that. I'm not necessarily opposed to that. And so we'll get to that. But I do think, like I said, what I would like to do is we talked a little bit about DivinityCorp. Like essentially, the big arc is DivinityCorp trying to recreate this cataclysmic that word.
Yep.
Event, right? And I feel like they do it. First of all, they succeed. I feel like this should actually create more heroes. But I feel like them doing that puts such a stink on the public eye that they basically get like either destroyed or like neutered.
Yeah. The way that I imagined it, and like I said, the spitballing. First one would be the death of Kindling.
Okay.
The second one would be the bombing of the big
Okay.
city. And then the third one would be the introduction of the vigilantes.
The freelancers?
The freelancers.
Maybe fleshed out. I feel like they should definitely be introduced before that. And maybe
would
some
imagine
kind of
like
conversation
maybe
between
like some. I would like to see some sort of like backdrop versions of them, like little sneak peeks.
Yeah, they'll
of
be
what they would
around
be.
for sure. Maybe not like fully. I feel like maybe a conversation with maybe the leader or something like that prior, because like I said, you gotta think maybe whenever he first reveals himself as outsider, he's loyal to DivinityCorp because he's worked there as Brian for so long that like he trusts them. He knows these are quote unquote knows these are good people, right? So maybe one of the freelancers, maybe the leader of the freelancers comes to him and he's like, new blood, you know, you should really think about how you want to go about doing this. Lives need saving regardless. If you'd like to stay here, you can do that. But, there's a lot of problems with DivinityCorp that aren't very public, and you should come work with us. And then Outsider will be like, no, I don't want to do that. And then maybe the bombing will happen in the end of the second arc, and then he's kind of like, maybe I really should go talk to these freelancers.
I like the idea of some small introduction to it, because I feel like I like the idea of having some sort of, like I said, backdrops, where like they're opening up a newspaper, and it's boom.
You can see like maybe
you can see like
something like that,
something like that, and then like he gets a mysterious phone call whenever he becomes the Outsider, and you don't have a face to it yet. And then in the issue 3, that's where
you mean the third arc.
That's where they start becoming more and more prevalent, and then you can go from there. I like being able to give. I don't want it to feel like it's sped through, so that's why first and second arc are
we'll lay
the
seeds down for that.
Right, because if we go first arc, the fall of DivinityCorp, it doesn't matter. DivinityCorp didn't matter in the whole story.
No, I agree. That's part of the reason why I was like, I definitely don't want to like push too hard into them, but I also don't want to not give them the time they need. Because I said I like this idea for an arc. I don't want our entire story to be about DivinityCorp versus the freelancers.
No, our story is about the Outsider.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of having them as a background, like how S.H.I.E.L.D. is a background for a very long portion of, it's always there, but it's not always there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
maybe
they do
we
it
kind of
well.
go in that direction, because my idea with DivinityCorp was originally like kind of a stand-in for S.H.I.E.L.D. because I didn't want it to necessarily be the government. So maybe throughout the third arc after the bombing, there's no real like presence at all aside from the freelancers, and maybe the government sees it as a problem. So maybe in the fourth arc they launch a government owned like superhero thing,
or have it as a government takeover. They keep DivinityCorp as it is, but new management.
Yeah, and maybe they stop calling it corp. Maybe it's not a corporation after that. Maybe it's like could go the S.H.I.E.L.D. route and call it Divinity, and then have it stand for something.
Yeah.
Division of Investigation. Vagina.
Vigilante.
Oh my God! It was right there. Oh my! I really didn't even think about that.
Hey Camden, go have a wank when we come back.
You're not British.
Go have a wank, governor.
You're a wanker.
But, yeah, I like the idea of having that, like some sort of transformation for them, because like obviously you want to have the base of it all, the foundation of this story, where this is how he got his powers. It's always important, kind of like how Spider-Man is.
Yeah.
That's always there. Ben, the whole
Ben.
Ben. The whole like progression of that. Like you always have the roots. Superman has, growing up on a farm.
Yeah.
It's what drives him to be a superhero. It's why he started there as a a scientist.
I'd like to imagine maybe his origin, or at least his past, isn't revealed until later. Like maybe what we'll do is we'll have like, because the origin is him getting the powers from kindling, right? And then I feel like maybe in a conversation with like the leader of the freelancers or something like that, like he kind of reveals like, this is something I've always wanted. This is unfathomably important to me, and I want to make sure I'm doing this right. And during that conversation, like you learn about the past of him, like always wanting this, it not being in his system, like there's no way of him becoming a hero, and then somehow magically it aligns that he gets these powers, but unfortunately it costs the life of a child and a close friend of his.
I feel like he would have to keep that under wraps, right?
I don't know that
he can't be very public about.
No, he wouldn't give away all that. I mean, like as a reader, you would know, about the incident that gave him his powers, and then later you'd learn in that conversation about his past and why these powers are so important to him.
Well, I was thinking more of like a, what's his name again?
Brian Wade.
Good old Brian Wade. I imagine that Brian Wade is keeping the fact that he has Kindling's powers under wraps. Like, no one knows that he got the powers from Kindling.
No, yeah. No, I agree. That's what I'm saying.
And this is like a little...
He does not tell Freelancer how he got the powers. What he tells him is why they're important to him and the past that comes with them.
I feel like there's a moment that they can have a bonding experience where if he feels trustworthy enough.
Maybe that'll happen at the end, maybe like the end-ish of the third arc.
You know, like there could be some sort of really catastrophic event where he's like, having an identity crisis over it all. And he's like, these aren't even supposed to be mine. I got them from Kindling.
Yeah, maybe because we haven't really thought out at all yet about villains, people he's going to fight. I feel like we're doing a lot of the world building first. But I feel like maybe that could be what happens during like the third arc. Maybe we introduce someone maybe in like the second arc that becomes a really important like villain character. And it keeps building, and then obviously the bomb stuff happens, and it kind of like takes away from that for a little bit. So then he's focused elsewhere, and that gives the villain time to like plot something out, and then boom, big crazy thing happens, and it's this like breakdown moment. For Outsider, where he starts to realize like this is a lot more serious than just I have powers and need to help. Like maybe someone he loves gets hurt. Maybe maybe the villain finds out about Kindling. And the power set of that, and threatens to reveal it or XYZ, whatever. I
feel like there's a kind of parallel to that where it's like the driving force for this character, the villain, is trying to find out who this outsider guy is. Where he's like either in the like the freelancers, and he's not in that main team, but he's like there, and he's like, who the hell is this guy?
Someone who's jealous of Outsider.
Yeah. Coming in, like he wants to be part of the main team,
and no one gives a shit about him.
No one gives a shit about him.
Like, they want Outsider.
They want Outsider. He's been doing everything he can to be a part of this team, putting in the work day in and day out, and they keep overlooking
That's a good idea.
him.
And you know what that sounds like? A jealous child.
Yeah.
So what could be really cool is he's exactly that, a jealous child, and it's kind of like this foil for Outsider where it's like he's doesn't want to hurt this kid because the kid maybe reminds him of Kindling, and it's just like, listen, you have to understand, like, I'm not trying to you don't understand it or whatever, and he's trying to be civil about it because like he sees Kindling in this kid, and it hurts him that like he's, I don't know, maybe, I don't want to say failing with this kid too, but like, I don't know. It hits close to home.
What if this kid was a part of the same like breeding group as Kindling?
Was Kindling part of the breeding group? I thought our idea was that Kindling finds the first of batch of them.
I imagine like same generation though. Like I imagine like
the last. We'll call what we'll do is we'll say maybe that's like the last. Maybe in universe they'll refer to them as like the last true generation. Because from there, that's it. The bomb will work. I feel the bomb will work and it'll create more heroes and villains and stuff. But we'll call them like the artificial generation or something like that. Maybe we'll call them like Gen A. Wait a minute, no. Gen A.
We'll call them Gen A.
We'll call them Gen A. Okay, so we'll have to workshop that.
Yeah.
But no, that's some ideas. Like maybe Kindling and this kid is part of what they'll call it, the last true generation of heroes.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe they'll say that in the story too.
I like to imagine that this kid is seeing Kindling's powers. Like he knew Kindling in some sort of way. They just went down different paths. And he's like, wait a minute. I know those powers. What did you do to him? And he's starting to like do a bunch of like research into it.
Maybe that's what happens. Maybe when he's introduced in the second arc, he puts those pieces together and then maybe confronts Outsider in the third arc. Or no, right before the bombs dropped. And then obviously that's the event that like takes him away from that. Right. And then that gives this kid time to plot something out. And then boom, that's the big like twist. And then you're right, that's what would make him have to reveal to the leader of the freelancers the story of how he got his powers and what happened to Kindling.
Because I imagine that this other guy is going to be like, he is not to be trusted. He did something to this guy. He's part of DivinityCorp. He did this. He took his power. He killed this kid. You know, like it could be like that.
Oh yeah, and then I actually now that you say that, I feel like once the DivinityCorp bomb drops, the trust for Outsider is going to drop.
Yeah.
Like, because you're right, he's going to be outwardly affiliated with DivinityCorp because he trusts them so much as Brian Wade that then that's going to happen, and then the DivinityCorp heroes are basically going to be like, well, who are you people? We couldn't trust your company. Can we trust you?
Dude, when I say this, I mean this with my whole balls. We're coming up with a really fucking good story.
Yeah, we are.
Like,
Why'd you say that like that with your whole balls?
Don't worry about it.
Okay. No, I genuinely, and I feel like I love these episodes because they feel more like brainstorming sessions. Yeah. I feel like maybe off air, or if we can manage a way to make it entertaining, we should genuinely like plot this out legitimately. Because I said there's a lot mainly just brainstorming, but I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I thought about writing it down, but I'm like, we have audio recordings of these things.
Well, I thought about doing that too. Maybe going back to the Building a Universe episode in this one, and basically making at least a timeline of how we want this to go. I really like world building, especially because I saw in the beginning of the Superman movie. There's those line of text where it's like 3 centuries ago, metahumans appeared. Yeah. And 3 decades ago. I really like that of like that's a lot of word building with just the letter 3 in a continuous line for the first like 3 minutes of the movie. Obviously, and with something like this, like a story like this, we can do more than that. I don't know. I like that formula a lot. I like the idea of, we have all the time in the world to flesh out heroes and villains and this and that. Yeah. Although I will say, we're getting to a point where we're getting relatively close. What I'd like to do,
a villain for the first arc.
We do. We've introduced 2 new characters here, and we just keep referring to them as Leader and the Kid. I would like to real quick at least give names. Yeah. Let's work out these characters real quick.
Okay.
So first of all, I feel like we have more figured out with the villain. Let's figure this out. So he's a quote unquote hero.
Yeah.
Who is obsessive, compulsive, and angry.
He has to have something that's kind of not mainstream worthy, but still powerful.
Maybe he doesn't have powers. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he's a gadget guy. Maybe he's smart. Maybe that's how he deduces the stuff with kindling, because he's smart.
But he's part of the same generation as kindling.
Okay, childhood genius.
Well, we said he had a power. He was.
Oh, last generation heroes. You're right. So I guess he would have
last generation
of power set.
Maybe it's not something so flashy though, but still powerful enough that like it's misunderstood, but it could still go toe to toe in a brawl or a fight with someone like Outsider. Because you have to have some sort of.
Maybe we could do some kind of like light manipulation. Maybe everyone thinks he's basically just like can turn on and off lights. Maybe make little lights, something like that. But then like if you think about light manipulation, could make you basically a Green Lantern, hard light. You could mess with like spectrums. Maybe like make him colorblind. Something like that. Like maybe he has a power, and we'd have to define all this stuff for sure. But just some rough ideas of like it could be a much more powerful ability than people think it is.
What do you think of Kid Bright?
I don't hate it. I kind of like the idea of Kid Blank, but every time I've ever seen it done, I haven't liked it.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking something like Prodigy. Of like a lot of potential. And like I said, the kid's definitely gonna be kind of full of himself. I feel like he would name himself Prodigy.
What about Nightlight?
That sounds condescending. I feel like that would be a good like make fun of him name. Like people are like, oh, it's just Nightlight. Don't worry about him.
Okay.
But as far as an actual name, no, I don't really care for that. Albright. Like All Might, but
Albright. I don't hate it.
Bright Year. Like Light Year, but bright. I actually don't hate that. Kid Cadet.
Call him Sunspot.
I think there is already a character called Sunspot. Or maybe I'm thinking of Sunfire. He's an X-Men character.
Sunfire.
Every time I keep seeing a Funko Pops of him in like comic shops, and I was thinking Sunfire.
Is the Bobby Lee, right?
Yeah. What's that show called? Bad Friends.
Yeah, Bad
I've
Friends.
only ever seen clips of that. I've never actually watched it.
I've watched a couple of their podcasts. Yeah. They're pretty good. Sunfire.
I'm Bobby Mom.
A little tangent there.
We could call him Prodigal Son, and then the son could be S-U-N.
Okay, Prodigal Son. I like it. We can
We can do the same thing we did with like, because he was originally Flint. We settled on Kindling. You know, we're going with that. We'll call him Prodigal Son for now, though. Prodigal Son will be our villain. That's pretty cool. And maybe we can have some kind of like, you know, because I don't even know, the Prodigal Son is a biblical story of, you know, this son who, I don't remember if he got sent away or if he ran away or what the case is, but the whole thing about the Prodigal Son is that after being gone for so long, he found his way back to his home, back to his family. So maybe we can have some kind of like connection there, so it's not just a cool name, you know, maybe some kind of like comeback story with him. Maybe after the fight with the Outsider, or maybe after a while, maybe it could be a recurring villain before he turns back. Maybe he comes back to the good side or some nature like that. Well, we can, like, that'll be a plot thing later, but who knows? And then the other one we got to cover is
the leader. Yeah.
I'm kind of imagining him in my head as he's definitely a stoic, like, Captain America, Superman type.
I was thinking
character.
like cowboy, like stoic cowboy.
I was thinking more of like a soldier, but a cowboy could be really cool. He'd be like Slinger, gunslinger.
Captain Sling.
You know, I made the joke about including a character called Captain Commander. This seems like a reasonable spot to plug that name in.
Yeah.
Throw that on the chopping block. I kind of like the idea if he's a cowboy. What if he's a cowboy with? What if he's like a metal? What if he's like a cyborg cowboy?
Okay.
What if he has a robot horse? Or better yet, what if he has a cyborg horse?
It's kind of cool. What if he's a centaur?
A centaur? I think having a centaur or something like that on the team would be kind of cool. I don't know if I want the main guy to be a centaur.
Why not? They're like mythologically very, very intelligent and advanced.
I don't know. I like the idea of him being on a horse. I don't like the idea of him being half a horse.
I mean, he has 2 legs and then like the horse head.
Maybe what we could do is he's a cowboy. Maybe the power he got is just like maybe like hypervision, we'll call it, or something along those lines. Where like he can like he's a bunch of different like eyesights. Maybe like kind of like how Superman has the laser vision, the X-ray vision. We could have those, and then maybe like binocular vision or something like that. Maybe it's all eye related stuff, and he can't hone it, so he has to wear this like at least a goggle, kind of like Cyclops, like some kind of goggles, or maybe like a helmet or something, and then he'd have a cowboy hat that would go over it, and that's his slinger. He like from his eyes. He's the eye slinger. Ooh, be really cool. Well, this is kind of a ripoff. There's a Marvel character named Kid Colt, and he's like a cowboy character. Be cool if we had our character named Kid Bolt, because he has like bolts of light from his eyes that he shoots out.
I like the idea of having some sort of spectrum. If it's light spectrum.
Ooh, we could call the other kid Spectrum.
Good.
And maybe he has autism.
Maybe he has autism.
Outsider! Have you ever heard of trains?
Wait a minute. You have kindling's power.
Pattern recognition. Shouts out to all the homies out there with autism. Me and all my homies love people with autism. No, that's cool though. Do you want to do that? You want to call him Spectrum?
Yeah, I
Cool.
think Spectrum's cool.
I like Spectrum. So our guy. Do you like the idea of Cyborg Cowboy?
I do.
I really like the idea of Cyborg Cowboy.
It has like a cowboy hat, like the visor, glasses, and he can be like.
I like that. Well, I like the idea of the visor helps him control it. Maybe he doesn't have to touch it. Not like Cyclops, where it's a window that opens. It just helps him focus essentially. So he doesn't have to touch it. He's like, just like look and shoot, right? Damn, dude, Cyborg Cowboy, that's awesome. Why is it so hard to think of a name though for a Cyborg Cowboy?
Cyrider, Captain Cowboy.
Hold on, let's see what this says. I like Forge a lot. Include Forge in there somehow. Circuit. No. I would kind of like to stay away from Captain if we can, just for this whole fact that, like I said, he's kind of going to be our Captain America-esque character, and I don't want that to be so that obvious. Yeah, but maybe like. Let me see if I can find some kind of like cowboy names. Carson. Buffalo Bill. Okay, so these are people names for people that are cowboys. It's not what I'm looking for. Cowboy synonyms. Oh no, that's cowboy syndrome. What is that? Injuries sustained from mechanical bull riding.
Yep.
Huh. Synonyms. Cattleman.
Oh.
Cattle commander. No.
I kind of like that though.
Cow puncher.
Cow puncher.
Actually, cow puncher is not a.
Shut up. Cattleman, no.
Wait.
Cow puncher, yeah.
Call him Cattleborg.
Cattleborg.
Stockman. Bronco is the strongest match for synonym for cowboy. I feel like we can do something with that.
Bronco.
Bronze Circuit.
I like it. Honestly.
Bronze Circuit.
Cyborg Cowboy. Hey, Destiny. Cyborg Cowboy name. We spent 30 minutes on a name.
Spectrum.
Yeah. He has light powers.
Autism. Oh, yeah, those are the two reasons, yeah.
So the idea of this is he is the leader of a he's like the leader of the freelancers, which is like the non-corporation version of heroes.
Rancher is another synonym for cowboy. That might be something we can work with. Wrangler.
Ranch dressing.
Breeds of horse found in Cyprus. I don't think it's a breed, but it's a place where they breed horses.
Why would I know that?
Yeah, you know about horse breeding.
Cypress Moon is a 4-year-old filly and has raced from 2023 to 2025.
We can move on.
Oh, I feel like it's here, and I want it so bad.
Because it has like brawn.
What if we go like something like Bronket instead? Like instead of like Bronze Circuit, because like, it kind of just sounds like you're saying brawn. Gear could be something.
Guillermo.
Wrangear.
Wrangear.
Like Wrangler.
Yeah.
With gear. Yeah. Wrangear. The Cyborg Cowboy.
Wrangear.
Actually, now that we've said it like that, I think I like it.
Yeah.
I think I like it.
Yeah.
It was right there. It was on the tip of my wiener. And we found it.
We did. I had to look good and hard on the tip of the wiener. It was a short journey, but here we are.
Hey, how about you shut your yap hole? All right. I believe that does get us to a point where we're probably got to wrap up our Building a Universe segment today.
Which is
quick.
Sad because, like...
I know, it's so much fun. I really don't even want to stop. But quick recap. So we've set up about sounds like 4 arcs worth of story there.
Yeah.
We now know that Rangir is the leader of the freelancer group. He is a cyborg cowboy hero, and is the model, someone that our character Spectrum is trying very hard to be like and is being completely ignored by. But they are all about outsider. They want outsider on their team, and it makes him angry. And he becomes vengeful and becomes the first major villain of the story of all of Outsider.
Yeah.
Now I say it like that, I feel like that wasn't a lot, but I feel like there was a lot of meat.
There was
here.
a lot in there. We fleshed out a lot of like.
You said wee.
I do that a lot apparently, but we ended up putting a lot of context to a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be, we fleshed out more of the story. And
yeah.
I'm excited to get down and put a storyline together.
I think the next time we do a Building a Universe episode, we should make what is essentially the story of issue 1.
Because I want to make this into a comic book.
That'd be so cool, but you know how expensive it is to make a comic book?
We'll crowdfund it.
We gotta get an audience first. Ain't nobody listen to this chiz.
We'll make it work.
Make it work. Get it right. Change the world overnight. Got a dream big time. Hey, Derek, how'd you feel about All-Star Superman?
I hated it.
Yeah, I was worried about that.
Yeah. So here's the thing. The comic book wasn't bad. I mean, there was a lot of really interesting points. You know, the Black Kryptonite. You know, Lois Lane getting Superman's powers for a little bit. Which
there was a well, what was nice about that story is it's basically a bunch of like one-offs but they all fit together in a linear story because that's essentially the life of Superman.
Yeah.
You know, you get a little bit of everything in that book.
But you know, it's like I couldn't get past the artwork. And I've been really getting into comic books and enjoying the artwork and a lot of things. And coming off of my last Superman comic book,
yeah, I guess jumping from Kingdom Come to this, like that's a big difference.
The amount of expressions on these motherfucking Chads' faces is just what like I don't think you should have posed them like that. I mean, there was so much mewing.
I will admit, I didn't really care for the art that much in that book either. I don't think it's as bad as you're saying, to be honest with you. Like, it's definitely a lot more bearable, I feel. It wasn't a problem for me at all, but I did definitely think whenever I first started reading it, like, this is definitely kind of weird, and there are parts in there for sure. Did you get to the part where he talks to Lex Luthor?
Yeah.
I thought that whole issue looked super weird.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't think it was unbearable. I feel like, at least for me personally, like I was able to get past it after a little while.
I did like the idea of some sort of monster in there that was feeding off of Superman's powers and no one knew about it. You know, that was cool. But you know, like the whole Lois Lane arc where he gave her the superpowers for 24 hours and then like immediately they went and fought something, and then 2 other heroes, I can't remember their names off the top of my head.
I can't either.
But they started fighting over her. Like,
well, it's Lois Lane.
But like,
dude, it's Lois Lane. I watched the Superman movie, man. I would fight for Lois Lane.
But like, come on. You don't have to make
this. I'm hearing you out. I'm coming you on.
You don't have to make the story about it though. Like, there's much more interesting things out there than 3 dudes fighting over Lois Lane for a 24-hour thing.
I suppose I can see where you're coming from, but I don't think they handled it in a way where it felt like that. It didn't feel like 3 dudes fighting over Lois Lane. It felt like 2 guys being stupid.
They arm wrestled.
Superman trying to put an end to it, and then him kind of going down to their level.
Yeah, he arm wrestled them.
And he won.
And
he's that guy.
I think he broke one of the dude's arms.
Hell yeah. Actually, I don't know. I don't remember.
But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed reading it as much as I enjoy reading a comic nowadays, and that's a lot.
Yeah.
But I could not. It was a hard read because I couldn't get over the artwork. I mean, it was
fair enough.
It was.
Well,
I'm going to read the second half of it. I know that's going to be the challenge for this week.
No. We're putting a pin in that, and we'll get to that in a minute here.
Okay.
We'll get to that in a minute here. You will have to read the rest of that here eventually, but
Okay.
I didn't think through when I had told you that. And we'll talk about that whenever we finish my segment with the challenges.
Yeah.
I had to watch the last 2 episodes of Lord of Mysteries and then watch
Morbius.
Yeah, that one.
You vomited a little bit. You want me to say it again? Morbius.
Please stop. Okay, so Lord of Mysteries.
Yes.
I really enjoyed the first episode. We talked about that already. I won't get too far into that. But these other 2, I feel like were kind of harder to follow. I feel like I got the first episode relatively well, and then past that, I feel like I'd like to rewatch it maybe once it's dubbed.
Yeah.
Just for the sole fact of, being able to pay attention a little more to what's going on and being able to click like that. I also feel like now I can add a lot more to the sub versus dub debate because I'll tell you what, I did not enjoy this mainly because it was subbed.
Yeah. And that we knew that going into it. Like I wanted to give you something that obviously or honestly was I'm not familiar with Chinese anime. There's a lot of really, really good Chinese anime that are visually stunning. This was my first introduction to it. And that's where I wanted to share that with you because, from what I've been told, the Chinese animes are just really good when it comes down to the art.
As far as animation went, I said it's still just as stunning. It was beautiful animation, but like I said, it just got to a point where the story was kind of hard to follow as is, and then the fact that I had to pay so much extra attention to it. There was a lot of blinking you'll miss it stuff. There was just so much going on that I feel like I missed a lot.
I feel like if you watched it again, and I imagine that if I watched it again, there would be a lot of things that I'd be like, oh shit, I missed that first time.
So I don't think by any means it was bad. I just feel like I didn't enjoy it as much as I could have.
Which is fair. I mean, mostly I recommended it to you because of the animation, and in hindsight, kind of wish that I waited until it was dubbed, because the point of it was the animation, not the storyline as much. Because it was hard to follow. But I'm on board with it. I'm kind of really looking forward to.
Yeah, no, I said I by no means am disinterested or anything like that. I said that once it's dubbed, I'd like to come back to it because I feel like I'll enjoy it more that way.
But you enjoyed Morbius a lot better this time. You told me that you found it one of the best movies.
Go ahead and get all your lies out.
One of the best movies you've seen in a long time. After we woke up from our nap, that was like.
Yeah. Okay. So I was kind of instantly dogging on it. Yeah. Because of how easy it is. And you were like, no, go in with an open mind, man. So I was genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, trying my hardest to watch this movie as if I'd never seen it before, being less critical of it, just watching a movie. And it was still so easy to make fun of, Derek. This movie is so bad. I found so much stuff I didn't like. Sincerely, I think the only redeemable part about this movie is Matt Smith, dude. His acting is incredible. It's an awful script he's given, and his character is one of the worst in the movie. But he owns it, and I love Matt Smith. I also noticed this time around that they make he's like, the Dodger comes in, he's like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is your pain today? And he's like, 11. And I don't know if it's directly a nod or not, but he played the 11th Doctor in Doctor Who, which is how I know him and why I like him so much. And I was just like, oh, he said it. He said the thing.
11. He said 11.
I hate Jared Leto so much. There's so much about this movie that's so awful. It was so hard to watch, dude. The visuals were not great. The CGI of the bats in almost every scene they were in, they looked terrible.
But that's the thing. Like, I think that you're looking at it, and you said that you tried to take the hate glasses off.
I swear to God I did.
But, like, Batman, those movies are great. And I would imagine that the CGI in both of those movies are very similar.
What movies?
The Dark Knight Rises.
Okay, that's the only Dark Knight trilogy movie I haven't seen, so I can't.
Well,
I'll tell you what, though, the one where there's mainly a bunch of bats is Batman Begins.
Okay.
And it's been a while since I've seen it. I haven't seen it in 2 years. But I remember those looking pretty good. But I don't know.
I could be thinking about Batman Begins as well. So.
But the thing is, I genuinely tried my hardest to power through this movie and watch it genuinely. it was so awful that both of us fell asleep.
No. I've been up since 3:40 in the morning.
Okay.
That's why I fell asleep. We were watching this close to 5 p.m.
Okay.
And I'm old.
Okay.
That's why I fell asleep. I'm actually going to watch Morbius again.
You don't have to do that.
I'm going to do it.
So having said that, right, the problem with doing Superman again is last episode, the way I kind of panned it out was Dad had challenged us to V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
So rather than taking on this new challenge for us, I said, I'm on vacation, this episode's pre-recorded. So the point of V for Vendetta is it's a bigger comic. So for the point of this recording, we will have 2 weeks to read/watch. You have to do both.
V
for Vendetta.
Okay.
Because it's bigger. You know, I think it's probably about the same size as All-Star Superman. So the same thing.
Okay.
It would basically be like
12 issues?
Roughly, I think. I'd have to check for sure. I don't have a copy of it. But yeah, so that's our challenge this week. We're both going to have to read/watch V for Vendetta. And then when we come back next week, we'll have another challenge, hopefully. Having said that,
so V for Vendetta is 10 issues.
that's still bigger than I normally give you. Like when I give you a comic, usually like 7 at the max.
Yeah.
So I think that's still fair. 10 weeks or
We weren't far off. It was 10 to 12. We were
Yeah.
thinking. But now I think that
it's time to
roll for ending.
10 is standard outro.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites because it's the easiest to edit. No fancy gimmick this week, ladies and gentlemen. Just from the bottom of our hearts, genuinely, thank you for listening to the Variety Voiceover. You know, if you're listening to this on the day it comes out, don't feel free to wish me a happy birthday.
Everyone
Everywhere. If you like, just be like, happy birthday, Camden.
Yep. His 21st birthday.
Thank you for listening to the Variety Voiceover. That's all for this week. In the meantime, you can check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Well, on YouTube, you can check out Comeback Kid Films for video projects. Be on the lookout for Explode this August. You can also email us to be part of the show at varietyvoiceoverpod@gmail.com. But as for now, this voice is over.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.
Trying to see what I'm getting into. Now get on your knees. Again, my eyes widen. Though this time in outrage, you've got to be He tightened the belt again. Yeah, I'm done.